Hi, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils, Health Matters, and Living the Wholesome Life. And today we are on week 14, day 2 of our positive, peaceful growth affirmations that we're doing a shout out every day. We are basically working through together with you Susan Lawton's book, Positive, Peaceful Growth Calendar. And you can buy it at Aroma Tools or Oil Life. If you love essential oils and positive affirmations and music, you are going to just love her book. So, the affirmation for this week is, I am in charge of my brain. And I think that's so wonderful because we are in charge of us. Like as adults, we are in charge of us. We are in charge of how we nourish our bodies, how we nourish our brain. We're in charge of what we decide to do that day. We're in charge of the relationships that we make. And so we really are in charge of our brain. And I did a big shout out yesterday on different things that we can do to nourish our brain and to help our brain work at its best. But anyway, so maybe check that one out. I'm not going to spend very much time on that aspect today. So you know that we always have an affirmation for the week and the day. So the affirmation for the week is, I am in charge of my brain. Like, I'm reminded of, I can't even remember the guy in Nazi Germany who said, in the midst of everything, and having so little freedom and having so much bad things happen to us, he was still in charge of the way he thought, what he thought, the way he thought, and so much of how he acted toward other people. And so we get to choose that. We get to choose our thoughts. Now, when I say, okay, so the affirmation for today is, I am the creator of my thoughts. And we did a shout out. Well, we did a conversation on that yesterday too, on every thought that pops into your head is not yours, right? Some of the things that pop into our head are self-generated. Some of the things that pop into our head are, gifts from heaven and inspiration from heaven. And then some of the things that pop into our head are really like temptations and I'm just going to say whisperings of your shoulder devil. We'll just call it a shoulder angel and a shoulder devil. And I found a really fun clip that Disney did that kind of illustrates how each of us have like an angel and a devil that we get inspired by or tempted by, that influence to do the good and think the best about people, and the influence to think the worst about people, right? And so we each have that. So I just wanted to say again that not every thought that pops into our head is self-generated. I remember that Elder Holland, who is an apostle in our church, well, in the church that I go to, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, he did a talk once on kind of depression and dark thoughts, and how one day he was going along and everything was fine, and then just really completely out of the blue, he was hit with darkness. It wasn't self-generated. It was just like a huge trial that he had to live through and get through. And so I'm just saying that if you have a lot of dark thoughts, if you have a lot of depression, if you have a lot of anxious thoughts, I don't know that all those are self-generated from you. Maybe that's just a trial or a temptation or a whatever that you are going through now. And as my dad always likes to say, things come to pass, they don't stay. So whatever is bad happening in your life, it doesn't come to stay. It comes to pass. And whatever trial you're going through in life, it doesn't come to stay, it comes to pass. Whatever temptation you're going through in life, it doesn't come to stay, it comes to pass, right? And you might, on the opposite side, also say to me that good times don't come to stay and they don't come to pass. But I'm just going to say that from my understanding of the scriptures, eventually good times do come to stay, right? Eventually we get to a good place, we get to heaven, where God wipes the tears from our eyes, where our trials and temptations are gone, where we have passed the test of mortality, and where good times really do come to stay. So, and I'm not the biggest student of the scriptures either, so if that's a mistaken understanding, do your own study on the scriptures and see what you think. But that's my version of what I think. So, anyway, I kind of got off tangent a little bit. So going back to being the creator of our own thoughts. So I just wanted to talk to you today and have us talk together on how do we start our day? How do we create our thoughts? So I think, and I had mentioned in a different video, on how we can love ourselves awake and love ourselves to sleep, which means basically complimenting ourselves and telling ourselves what's good about ourselves as we're waking up and as we're going to bed. I have noticed as I've started to do this more and more, just taking the time to compliment myself and acknowledge the good things that I'm doing and the good aspects of myself, that I am much more able to meet the day with love and generosity and kindness and the ability to give a lot of other people a lot more grace. So I think that we can create our thoughts. So I hope that you're taking the time as you go to bed, as you wake up, to just be thankful for yourself. Tell yourself the good things that's happening, that you're doing. Remind yourself of the good person that you are, right? And okay, so that's one of the first things that we can do during the day. So another thing that we can do during the day, and I think this is a Jim, I might get his last name wrong, Rowan. Anyway, my sister totally loves to listen to him, and she turned me on to him, and I've listened to a lot of his talks, and I actually love listening to him, because he is so much of you can create the life you want. And what he says, one of his things that he says to do is to live your life before you live it, to visualize yourself before you live it. And from my understanding of God and how God made the universe, he created it all mentally. He planned it all out before he actually created it. And so we're children of God, right? And so I think that it helps us when we say, okay, what do I want this day to be like? And maybe we're going to start with who we want to be. I want to be love. I want to be loving in all I do. I want to be grace. I want to give each other grace. I want to give myself grace. Okay, anyway, so then, just decide who we want to be today. And then what are the big rocks that we need to put in our day, right? So, what are your big rocks? Some of my big rocks are personal scriptures, family scriptures, personal prayer, family prayer, walking with my friends and getting out and exercising, and then hopefully doing some homeschool. Since I'm a homeschool mom, I should be doing some homeschooling with my children too, right? So those are a lot my big rocks of the day. What are your big rocks? Make sure you're putting the big rocks into your day each day, and then putting the little pebbles in, and then putting the sand in. Putting itinerizing things. Stephen Covey says that if you don't schedule your priorities, you will not do them. So maybe 2:00 you're going to nap. I don't know. I love napping. Maybe at 12:00 you're going to sit down after lunch and read a story to your children. Maybe I guess I'm mentioning things from my life, but you know how to plan your life, and definitely plan your life before you live it. When you plan your life before you live it, you feel so much more like the creator instead of just the person that life happens to. And so now I just wanted to, at our last journal conference in the priesthood session, they basically told the men of our church to make sure they have their game plan on. And so I'm not a huge sports person, but I do love watching sports movies because I love the coaching and the change that happens so much in sports movies. And so what I'm going to say is, let's be our own coaches. Let's like examine yesterday as we're planning the day. Let's examine yesterday and let's say, hey, what went wrong? Where did the other team score a goal on me, right? And what do I need to do? Like maybe you weren't as loving to your children as you wanted to be. Maybe you weren't as loving to your spouse as you wanted to be. Let's figure out, let's delve a little deeper and see where those pitfalls came, and let's make a game plan as we're planning our day on what we're going to do when we encounter those same pitfalls. I don't know who said this, but I'm sure someone does. They said if you don't study history, you're bound to repeat it. So if we don't study where we've fallen down in life, we're bound to fall down again. And if we do study where we've fallen down in life and we get our game plan, is our game plan going to be 100% successful every single time? Well, I wish I could say it was. Like, I totally wish I could say it was, but our game plan's probably not going to be 100% successful because we're gonna be playing our game plan, and you know, the opposite team is going to hit us with something else, right? And sometimes our game plan is successful and sometimes it's not. But we're more likely to be successful and we're more likely to have the thoughts that we want to have in our head when we pre-plan them. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to say too, when it comes to thoughts in our head, when you get a mean thought in your head, I want us to tell ourselves, that's not me. Yeah, nope. I wouldn't think that way, okay? Because I don't think that is you. I don't think that you are the person who is thinking the jealous thoughts or the mean thoughts or the whatever thoughts. I don't think that's yeah, maybe that's us sometimes, but I don't think that's the true us. I don't think it's the best us. And so in the future, I want us to say to ourselves, that's not me, and I'm not listening to it, and I'm going to do, and when we get a bad thought that's coming into our mind, or a dark thought, or I don't know, jealous thought, whatever, what I want us to do is I want to flip that. I want us to say, that's not me, and this is what I really think. Okay? Let's just start changing that, you know? So let's just say that you're thinking someone's mean. Oh my goodness, that person's so mean. I want us to say to ourselves, that's not me. Who I really am is, oh my goodness, that person is having a really hard day. I wonder what's going on with that person. That person looks like they need a little bit more love in their life. I wonder how I can love that person a little bit more. Now that's who we are, right? So let's practice that one again. So let's just say that, okay, I'm trying to come up with hard scenarios that might hit us. So let's just say that we make a new recipe for our children, right? And some of our children are loving it and some of our children are hating it. And so we might get the thought that comes into our mind, I'm not a good cook. Okay? When you get a negative thought coming into your mind that's not uplifting, I want you to immediately say, that's not me. And I want you to say, you know what? I'm trying to be, so let's change that to who I am. Who I really am, I'm trying my best to be a good cook. I'm trying my best to make nutritious dinners for my children. And kudos for me for trying. Right? So anytime we are getting a negative thought about ourselves, about someone else, I want us to say, that's not me. This is really who I am. And when we go to this is really who I am, let's go to our best self. Let's go to our godly self. Let's go to the best we've ever been and say, that's who I am. That's me. Because as we think of ourselves more as that person, we will become more that person. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. So we really are the creator of our own thoughts, and let's not let someone else or the opposing team hijack our thoughts and make them think that they're coming from us. And let's not let the opposing team, I don't know, let's not just run with bad thoughts. So I posted a video yesterday on yesterday's affirmation, which is, I am the only one thinking in my head. And this one is super, super close, that we're the creator of our own thoughts. So one of the things, so it was a talk by Elder Boyd K. Packer, which is another apostle in our church. And he basically said, I've noticed that when I think of my mind as a stage, it really doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing sometimes. Sometimes these dark thoughts and these inappropriate thoughts come into my mind. And I found that they will play on the stage in my mind as long as I let them. And they can do whatever, I'm just going to call it darkness, that these things will want to do. But we don't have to let the stage of our mind be invaded. Like, yeah, they might come on, but we can kick them out. We can kick the hard things out, the dark things out, the inappropriate things out, the mean things out. We don't have to let them have full sway on the stage in our mind. And he mentioned a few ways to do that. And one of the ways was music. I think one of the ways is exercise or reading or talking to your friends or putting on a spiritual talk. Doing something that's uplifting. Like, I feel like when we get those dark thoughts invading our minds, it's up to us to change it to good thoughts, right? And we have the power in us to do that. Okay, so I really, really quick wanted to mention my sister, who is amazing, and I call her the Queen of Hearts. Her name's Michelle. I'm gonna cry because I love her so much. Anyway, so she once told me, Suzanne, whatever has happened in your life, I want you to think of it as a speed bump. I want you to think of it as a speed bump instead of a road that you have to travel forever, right? And so whatever you have done in your life, or whatever temptations you struggle against, I want you to think of them as speed bumps. I want you to think of them as something outside yourself, because you are not the sum of your actions. You are not something that you did back in 3rd grade, or you're not even what you did yesterday. You are more than that. So all of these actions in our life are speed bumps, and they can be repented of. We can make amends for whatever we've done. We can heal relationships, and we can move on. Okay, I don't know. I should probably keep some Kleenex with me when I'm doing these shout outs, because I do tend to cry because I'm talking about things that are so precious to me in my life. Anyway, so as you're creating your thoughts, I want you to create your mantra of who you really are. And your life mission. Stephen R. Covey was super big about us creating our life's mission. I know, well, I think of my sister as the Queen of Hearts, and I can't remember how she thinks of herself. I think she thinks of herself as super girl or superwoman or something, just someone who is capable of achieving so much, right? And that helps her be that type of person. Similarly, I know that my daughter, I don't know that she wants me to tell this to everyone, so I'm not going to mention which daughter it is, but one of my daughters, her life mission statement is, I touch generations, right? just a simple affirmation. I tried to look up my affirmation. My life's mission is so much longer. Like it's an entire paragraph that I often read to myself when I created it back in, I think I created it back in 2017. I tried to look it up on my phone. It looks like it's been erased from my phone. I tried to look it up in my computer. Looks like it's been erased from my computer. I'm going to have to go back to some of my old documents. Anyway, look at, I got my water today. I think when I may throw it into anyway. But create who you are. Know your mission statement so well that when you have dark or mean thoughts come into your mind, you can say, that's not me. When you accidentally do something wrong, you can say, that's not the real me. This is who the real me is. Let me make amends for that right now, because that's not the real me. So you can create your thoughts. You can create your life. You can. You have the power to change your life and to change your thoughts. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, so that's the affirmation for today. I really haven't come up with a good song that I'm super connected with, and that we're the creator of our thoughts. I'm really thinking right now about that song by Afterglow. I'm the captain of my ship, master of my destiny. But I couldn't find that anywhere to show it to you. So if you have a really good song that you are loving on being the master of yourself and the creator of your own thoughts, please put it in the comments. Okay, so the diffuser blend. You know, we always are diffusing a diffuser blend with each of these affirmations for the week. The diffuser blend that we're doing this week is frankincense, which is the oil of, so 2 drops of frankincense, which is the oil of truth, 2 drops of marjoram, which is the oil of connection. Gotta love marjoram. And 2 drops of lemon, which is the oil of focus. And since today is Tuesday, we are talking about frankincense. Anyway, so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about frankincense. Now, I think that every child who has ever been to church is pretty familiar with gold, frankincense, and myrrh, how they were the gifts that were given the Christ child. And I guess that would only maybe be with, well, anyway, maybe not everyone, well, obviously not everyone is Christian, and maybe not everyone knows that those were the gifts that were given to Jesus Christ. But anyway, if you read the Bible, you know that they are. And I do believe that frankincense was given for a multitude of reasons. It's called the king of oils for so many reasons, because it's good for so many things. It has so many physical and emotional gifts. Today we are only talking about the emotional gifts. We're going to talk about the physical gifts of frankincense on Friday. So really quick shout out, doTERRA is giving away a free 15 ml frankincense. So the bottle is going to look like this. If you buy 200 PV of essential oils, which means basically $200 of oils or other doTERRA products, you're going to, if you don't have frankincense in your home, you're going to want it. It's good for just so many things. So the first thing that you need to know is that frankincense comes from a tree. It's a tree oil. And every single one of the tree oils are grounding and they're centering. So frankincense is going to have that effect. It's going to, like if you're anxious, it's going to ground you. If you're scattered in a million different directions, it's going to center you to what is most important. Okay, it's going to help that. Like, I don't think that any essential oil will just do that on its own. Like, they're not like little, something that you put on or diffuse or ingest that, oh, now you're a robot, you're going to do something. No, that's not how it works, but it's going to help you do that. You have to be intentional and prayerful on how you use essential oils, in my opinion. But it is going to be very calming to your nerves. Okay, so we all know that lavender is super calming to your nerves too, and so is Roman chamomile, but frankincense takes it to the next level. Frankincense is often used in prayer and meditation, so because it's so grounding and so centering. So I just wanted to mention that. So here's a few things. You might need frankincense. You might need frankincense if you suffer from mood swings or you know anyone who does, because it's so relaxing and so centering. It can really help balance out your moods, okay? You might need frankincense if you're feeling lonely or separated or neglected. So, because it can help you feel loved and it can help you feel protected. So, okay, so you know, the gold, frankincense, and myrrh were given to the baby Jesus, and they, so many people think of frankincense as the fathering oil, the protective oil, and so many people think of myrrh as the mothering oil, the nurturing oil. Okay, and so I just kind of want to point that out about frankincense, is that it's a super protective, fatherly, male energy oil. And so too, if another thing, you might need frankincense. Frankincense might help if you've been hurt by men in your past, if you've through your history, if you've developed a negative opinion of men, frankincense can help with that. Because I am here to tell you that, yeah, there's some bad apples that are men out there. There are some bad apples that are women out there, right? Like, badness badness or goodness doesn't discriminate by gender. Okay, so just putting that one out there. And if you think it does, you're mistaken. And so, just wanted to say that frankincense can help if that's been your history. Let's think of Christ. Jesus Christ was the only perfect person who ever lived on earth. He was so kind. He was so loving. We can think of like Mahatma Gandhi. Am I saying that right? You know, like the Gandhi guy who helped to free India and was so peaceful and loving. I'm sure if I took the time, I could think of a million men who, and I know so many in my community and in my family, who are so good. So anyway, if you've had a negative experience with men in your past, frankincense can help heal that. Help remind us all of the goodness, the innate goodness that men have in them. And obviously women have innate goodness in them too. Okay, so frankincense can help us. It's the oil of truth. And it can help us quit lying. It can help us quit wanting to deceive people. Now, would I say, oh, diffuse frankincense and no one's gonna lie in your area? No. Like, again, I wish I could say that. Like essential oils aren't like the little policeman that, okay, now you do this, now you do that. No. But maybe because it calms us down and it opens us to a little bit more spirituality, maybe it can help us be more honest and truthful. I don't know. Okay, so frankincense can open up our heart to gratitude. If you have a hard time feeling God's love for you, right? And I think the adversary, if there was one thing that the adversary wanted to block in our minds, and if there was one thing that the adversary wanted to put a force field around us, saying, "Oh, don't notice this," it would be how much God loves us, right? Frankincense can help us can open us up to remind us that God loves us. Just knowing that. Like, I don't know, just even having the bottle of frankincense in my home reminds me of the baby Jesus, reminds me of the adult Jesus, the child Jesus who lived a perfect life, the adult Jesus that lived a perfect life and suffered and dies for our sins. And God loved us so much that he sent Christ. To suffer and die for our sins. He loved us that much, right? So, frankincense reminds me of God's love for me. of Christ's love for me. If you need to feel loved, I don't know, maybe just get a little frankincense, start diffusing it. I know someone who loves to put it in Epsom salts and take a bath in it because it's so relaxing. Anyway, it can assist our souls to be more spiritual, maybe reminding us that spirituality brings happiness. It can help us be more warm-hearted and generous, which again is what I think Christmas is all about. It can, if you have a problem feeling a lot of shame, or are easily disappointed, or feel insecure, or feel a lot of self-doubt, those are things that frankincense can help with too. And again, maybe when it comes to shame, maybe frankincense reminds us that God can heal us from that was heal. God can heal us from anything that we have done as we repent and we try to make amends. When we're disappointed, right, we're going to have disappointments in life. But frankincense and remembering God can remind us that he is the high priest of good things to come. Like, that's one of the titles of Christ in the scriptures. I can't remember where it's found, but Christ is the high priest of good things to come. And so, yeah, we're going to have disappointments in life, but we're going to have so many joys in heaven. I think we can remember that. And we do have so many joys here on earth. And I think that we can remember that too. Okay, it can help us be with our insecurities as we remember, as frankincense reminds us that we are children of God. And being that child of God, we have God. If we're not enough, God can make up the difference. And if someone says, who are you to be, sharing your opinion? We can say, I'm a child of God, right? I'm a child of God, and God wants me to let my light shine. So I'm going to share my opinions. Anyway. And then it can help us with self-doubt. Again, and, we are children of God. And he doesn't want us to doubt ourselves. He wants us to rise above the self-doubt and do it we know we should be doing and could be doing to better our lives, the lives of our family and the world. Okay, so frankincense, it can help with if you're feeling bitter, if you're feeling skepticism, if you're feeling cynical. And frankincense, another gift of frankincense is that it can help if you're afraid of death or if you fear change. Now, cypress is also one that can help with the fear of change. And or if you've had a loss of a loved one, frankincense can help with that. I think that is part of frankincense and part of Christ's mission on earth was reminding us that because of his atonement, death is the only thing that dies permanently. Everything else it's not a period, it's a comma, right? Death is the only thing that dies permanently. And because of Christ's atonement and because of his resurrection, we will all be resurrected too. Frankincense reminds us of that. And the last gift of frankincense that I wanted to talk about was that how it can help our minds link the past and the present and the future. So it can help us see how past actions bring present consequences, and it can help us make better decisions in the future. Frankincense, because it can be so spiritually connected, can help people who suffer from addictions. Now, if you had a smoking addiction, I would probably say black pepper. And honestly, I can't remember right now what is super good for alcohol addiction and drug addiction. I'll think about that in a minute. But one of the things that frankincense helps, the main addiction that frankincense helps is with sexual addictions or with pornography. So just wanted to mention that. So the gifts that frankincense can help with is if you're feeling abandoned, if you're feeling spiritually disconnected, distant from your Father, negative about men in general, if you're feeling unprotected, if you're suffering from a spiritual darkness. And if you're just feeling misaligned, frankincense can help with that. And it can help us feel enlightened, help us feel loved, help us feel protected, help us clue into the wisdom that's around us, that we have, that God is trying to share with us. It can help us with our discernment. And who doesn't want to be more discerning in life? It can help us be more spiritually open and more connected with our Father in heaven. So, frankincense, it's an amazing oil. Definitely so thankful that it's in the diffuser blend for this week, especially as it's December. Like, who wouldn't want to be diffusing frankincense in December? So you can diffuse it, you can put it on, you can actually drink it. So here's a bottle of doTERRA's frankincense, which is, doTERRA's are the only oils that I would ever suggest ingesting, because they third-party test everything. You can see the batch number on every single bottle. You can go to a site called Source2You to see all the tests that have been run on your batch of oil and all the results. And just letting you know that frankincense is something that you can ingest. It has the supplement facts on it, right? It's kind of like the things that you see on cereal boxes. And it just shows you that you can ingest it. It's super good for your mind, super good for your memory. I love to put like a drop or two in my water in the morning and drink it throughout the day. Love diffusing it. I'm diffusing that blend right now. Love, love, love the way it smells. So just a reminder of everything for today. We're diffusing frankincense, which is the 2 drops of frankincense, which is the oil of truth, 2 drops of marjoram, which is the oil of connection, and 2 drops of lemon, which is the oil of focus. We are the mantra, the affirmation for today is, I am the creator of my thoughts. And I think it's good to acknowledge we aren't the creator of other people's thoughts as much as we want to put some of our thoughts into other people's heads. They kind of have to be the creator of some of their thoughts. And I am in charge. The affirmation for the week is, I am in charge of my brain. Okay, so I know that you have the power in you to create amazing thoughts in your mind. And with those thoughts, to go out and create amazing actions and to change your life and to change the world in amazing ways. You are amazing. You are special. And I just love you. I know you can make it amazing today. We'll catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.